Hello, fourth grade. Today we're going to be taking a look at adverbs that compare. In our last lesson, we were taking a look at what an adverb is, and we talked about that an adverb describes a verb telling how, where, or when. And today we're going to look at how we use adverbs to compare. The first thing that you may want to do for review is to take a look at the YouTube video on adverbs. The link is here. So if you need to pause me and then open up a second window in YouTube so you can watch the adverb video. Okay, having done that, hopefully now that tune is stuck in your head. Always a good one. So we're going to take a look at adverbs. Again, just to review, an adverb is a word that describes a verb. In the video, they sing that an adverb is a word that modifies a verb. Same thing. It's going to change it. It's going to describe it. Verbs, remember, are actions. And the other song, you can find that one too, was the verb That's What's Happening. So remember those two little, again, those just that little jingle that sticks in your head, it really helps. An adverb, remember, gives more information about the action verb, and the adverb tells how, where, or when. Again, in the song, it does the how, where, or when, condition or reason. These questions are answered when you use an adverb, and then the little voice goes, come and get it. Okay, so again, if you get that little jingle in your head, you'll know exactly what these are. Again, most adverbs that tell you how something is done ends in ly. Loudly, quickly, quietly, softly, all those ly endings is how something is done. Now, moving on to today's lesson, that was review. Today's lesson, we're taking a look at comparing. Now, comparing with adverbs works a lot like when we compared with adjectives. We use ER and EST to compare the actions. So I'll give you a couple examples. When you're using a short adverb, now we have this tricky one too with adjectives, that, if it's a short word, if it's a short verb, an adjective. So Max runs faster than I do. Again, seeing that word than in there gives you a big clue that we are only comparing two things. So Max is our noun. He's a proper noun in this case, actually. He runs, that's the verb. How does he run? He runs faster than I do. Emily can yell the loudest of all. So Emily is the subject. She can yell, that's her verb. Now you notice we've got a the in between. That's okay, they don't have to be right together. But loudest is your adverb. And again, the big clue of all really helps you with that, there's more than two. Now, just like with adjectives, there are some spelling rules for comparing with adverbs. So just like with adjectives, if it ends in an E, we drop the E before adding ER and EST, or EST, excuse me. You don't use both at the same time. You can't say laterist. Yeah, it wouldn't be laterist, one or the other. So late, drop the E, add ER for later. Drop the E, add EST for latest. Just like with adjectives, just like with adjectives, adverbs that end in Y, you drop the Y and add an I before an ER or an EST. So again, early, earlier, earliest. He was earlier to the meeting than I was. Father Emo arrived the earliest to the church because there's more than two. Now, little tricky thing with adverbs that we didn't have with adjectives. is that for adverbs that end in ly. We talked about that quietly, quickly, slowly. We use more and most to compare adverbs. Examples here. Noah entered the room the most quietly of all. So Noah is the subject. What did he do? He entered. Now this one actually has more than one adverb because it also tells you where he entered, which was the room, but there's no comparison there, so I didn't highlight it. Most quietly of all. Again, that keyword of all, there's more than two people coming in the room. He entered the most quietly. Rochelle sang more sweetly than I did. So Rochelle is the subject. What is she doing? She sang. And again, that's past tense. We sing now. We are singing. We sang. We have sung. Yeah, it's a tricky verb. So she sang more sweetly. Again, sweetly is how she did that. And we're comparing Rochelle and I, so two things, so you get more. All right, just like with adjectives, ladies and gentlemen, when you're comparing with adverbs, we don't use ER with more at the same time. And we don't use EST with most in the same sentence. We also don't use EST with more and ER with most. We don't put them together. You get one or the other. Couple of examples for you. Incorrect. The giraffe runs more faster than the hippo. So you're comparing two things. So yes, you want to use more or ER, but it's the choice between the two. The giraffe runs faster than the hippo. The next one, this tortoise walks the most slowliest of all. Again, walks is the verb. He walks slow. He is not slowly walking. So this one has two problems in it. You don't put the EST with the LY with the most. This sentence you threw everything in there. So the way this one should go is the tortoise walks the slowest of all. This one just needs an EST. Remember, if it was the tortoise walks slowly, we could say the tortoise walks more slowly than another animal. I don't know what animal would that be, but tortoises are pretty slow. But in this case, you don't put everything in one sentence. Just like with our adjectives, when you're using adverbs, there are a few rule breakers because it is English, so we have to have some rule breakers. So badly, if you say, I do something badly, that's how you would say it in a sentence. Now, if you were comparing, it does not become more badly because it does end with ly. So if it followed the rules, it would be more badly. But this one is a tricky one. It's a rule breaker, and it goes to worse. I am worse at fractions than at multiplication. So that would be worse. I would not say I'm more badly. If it's the worst I am, I do the worst at percentages in math. So I would not say the most badly. Okay. Then you have far, farther, and farthest. Now this one's tricky because now you have far, further, and furthest. These are like she lives further away from me than you do. She lives the furthest away from the school. Little, now this is not like little and big. This is little like a small amount. So you wouldn't say littler, littlest if you were not comparing size. You'd say less and least. I have the least amount of pencils. I have less markers than she does. Then how much? Again, I was just saying that with you use more and most. Well, another one, which one we're going to talk about on our next lesson with adverbs, is well, better, and best. So when you use a verb, you do something well. So you can say, I did well on my math test. I did better on my division test than I did on my geometry test. I did the best on the addition and subtraction test. So again, that careful difference between good and well, that's the difference when you're using a noun or a verb, and that's coming up at our next lesson. And again, you don't have weller or wellest. Those aren't words. Couple thank yous to websites that I used their picture credit. And again, the irregular chart came from that My English Grammar website. So just want to make sure I give credit because some of that was not my work and not my pictures. So I'll see you next time again with Good and Well. Bye-bye.